so much for dropping by. I am going to let you know straight up, I've left each and every bit that I possibly could in this video so you can see that it's not hard to recreate at all. Now, I've sped up the footage a fair bit purely because each process takes a little bit of time. That being said, stick with me. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and that way you can see the inspiration that I'm bringing to you pretty much daily at this point. You can use part of what I've showed you. You can use a technique that I've showed you. Heck, you can scrap lift for all. Go for it. Free for all. Do with it what you will. Okay, so what am I doing? I am using I've gone back and I love this collection. Oh, do I love it. It is called, and I have not written it down. Okay, lucky it's close. It's a Paper Rose paper. It's made by Rewind. Start again. Okay, so it's made by Paper Rose, which is an Australian company, and it's called Inky Antics 1.0. I've only got the 6x6 collection, as you can see there, but you can do so much just by getting a 6x6 paper pad. Punching them out into star shapes with my Creative Memories star shape punches. So I used the large and the small. I cut out 4 different sizes. Now, I got to that point and I went, you know what? I am not wasting all this inky goodness. Okay, I didn't create this inky goodness because I don't have alcohol inks. However, I'm not wasting it. People, we've paid good hard-earned cash for our crafting stuff that we've purchased. It doesn't matter if you've bought it from a $2 shop and it's cost you 50 cents in a throw-out bin, or if you've paid top new release price for it. Makes no difference. We've spent money on it. Why not use it? So here I'm showing you a way that with a piece of scrap black cardstock, it's honestly, it's the cheapest. I think it's like £65. It's super cheap, super thin. I went with super thin for a reason, because the 6x6 paper pad that I'm using, the Inky Antics, it is quite a heavy cardstock. It's got a lot of good structure to it. So because of that, I didn't want to, I tried not to overlap my pieces too much here, but hence why I'm cutting them quite small. But I didn't want to add them to a really thick heavyweight cardstock because I'm actually going to run this through my die cutting machine. So I wasn't sure. I know I use die. How do I word this? Okay, so the die that I decided to use was the Kaisercraft alphabet uppercase script die. I'm going to list all the stuff below. Okay, it's in the description if you want to know exactly what I used. But what I did was that particular, I'm new to the die crafting stuff. Like I always looked at it as I'm shelling out $30 for one thing. I always looked at it that way. I've changed my way of thinking. It might cost you $30, but you can cut those letters out as many times as you like. So, before it gets blunt. Now, while I'm on that exact topic, I'm going to say, in this particular set that I purchased quite a while ago, I know I bought it from Spotlight, and I know that it was on sale. However, brand new product. I've got 4 letters in that set that don't cut down one side properly. Is it frustrating? Yes. Did I spend good money on it? Yes. it's very annoying. I have since been purchasing my dies from Uniquely Creative. I've been purchasing from the Tim Holtz collection, like my letters, because mainly because every time I run those, I've bought some of them, and every time I run them through my die cutting machine, they cut crisp straight through every time. Now, I'm not saying all the Kaisercraft ones are bad. They're not. I've got some others that I've bought some doilies, etc., and they all work perfectly. It's just this alpha, and I love the alpha, but it's really frustrating. It cuts through 65 pound, as you can appreciate, as a scrapper or a card maker. That's really, really thin. And I've got to be honest, I don't really have a lot of cardstock or papers in my collection that are that thin. But it's okay. I persevered. I put it through. So here you can see that little pile next to me? That is all I've wasted from, so here you can see me putting it through. So I've put it through twice. Okay. So now I've put it through again to see if I could get it to cut. And it just, I do speed through this process and I do skip over a bit. And I've explained why. Because it's not every single die, but this particular set I have an issue with. You saw how I just put it through. I've got brand new cutting plates. I've got, your Perspex plates. They're brand new. They're not warped. It's getting even pressure. It's just, then I thought, I even second guessed myself to think, well, maybe the outside of the rollers, it doesn't get quite as much pressure as the inside of the rollers. So I persevered because I love the colour and I didn't want to waste it. This page today is all about the bright colours. I'm really in a bright colour mood at the moment. I'm just saying. So you can see me putting this through again and again. And yes, it is sped right up, but I put it right through twice and the same letters wouldn't come out. So you can see the letters off to the wax paper. That's the look I'm going for. It's a paper pieced. I wanted some of the black to show and I wanted some of the colour to show. And it's just another way of using up your scraps, creating alphas out of it. You've paid for it. You know it's going to coordinate with your stars because it's the same paper. The benefit to using this particular paper, there you go. See, I did persevere. I got it all done. Title is You're Sporting a Set of Crazy Eyes, Girl. So what I wanted to do was I went through a couple of different phases. I was going to ink up the section in through the center on a diagonal. I was going to do it in black. Then I thought, no, I'm not in a black mood. No, I'm going to use color on color on color. Now, what you just saw me do there was add the Finnabair Art Basics Gesso. It's the clear gesso. So it doesn't add anything extra to the paper other than water. The water and the ink doesn't soak into the paper. It's going to sit on top and it's going to stay brighter. That's what I really wanted for this page. Now, I ended up using 4 different colours on here. Mustard seed, squeezed lemon, that's what I'm using at the moment. I did dry between coats because I didn't want them to just, and I've said this before, I'm quite purposeful with my mixed media. I don't just like slapping it on. I like to know, see how I'm bending the plastic up. So it is just simply the packaging technique. However, I wanted it to be exactly where I put it. I didn't want to just splotch it down and hope for the best. I wanted to have a certain amount of science involved with this and accuracy. I absolutely love where this is going. Now, don't panic, but this is black soot. So this is Distress ink. It's black soot. I've used the seedless preserves, black soot, squeezed lemon, and mustard seed. Now, because the black soot could have quite easily just covered over everything, I kept it to a minimum. I even got to the point here, look, I used a brush because I'm like, nah, I need to keep those 2 white spaces either side of the diagonal for my title. It's a lengthy title. I didn't want it to just go straight across the top. I wanted it to go sort of top and bottom. So this is what I do. Okay, and what I just did then was I pressed it and rolled it on the edge of the table just to get it back fully flat again. That happens to me when I use gesso. Sometimes it's just the process. It's fine. It lays flat. So here I am using the stars that I've cut out. Now I beg you to stick with me. Stick with trust the process. Stick with me here. I know you're looking at this going, Karren, what have you done? That is a nightmare. You can't even see the stars. They're not popping off the page. You've wrecked it by putting the colour on there. All the negative, okay? But stick with me. I promise you, it works. It totally works. And I absolutely adore this page. When I go colour, I go full colour. What have you got to lose? At this point, I've got myself 2 photos that are not attached to the cardstock yet. I have some stars. As you can see, I've cut them out of 3. So I ended up using 3 pieces of the 6x6 paper pad. I've still got a heap of stars left over. I'm going to work out something else to do with those. I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm going to use them on, and I will bring that inspiration to you. Let me know below if you want me to do another bright page using these stars to show you something else to do with them, because I do have an idea in my head, and it's going to, I can do it this week if you want me to do it. I'm just writing it down because I've just had the idea jump into my head when I was looking at this. And that's what I do. When I watch other people's videos, I have an idea pop in my head. It may be inspired by someone, but it's not exactly what they've done. So here I'm going around the edge of the stars. Look, see if you stuck with me. It works. So I've gone around the edges of the stars with a 0.7mm uni POSCA pen. People just call them POSCA pens, but the title on here is uni POSCA. I love these paint pens because they dry matte, they flow beautifully, and they're awesome. You know, quite often I use a gel pen, and that's good, but when I'm doing mixed media like this, I feel like it needs the POSCA pen, you know, the paint, the thick matte look. So here you can see me, I put the title on. These are the couple of bits that I've skipped over, going around everything with the pens. I skipped over the full process of that because we all know how to trace around a letter, right? And I just thought I'd just lose too many people mid-process if I had to put the whole process in. This page is time consuming to create. However, the longest time was making the letters and sticking all the extra pieces down for the letters. That was the longest amount of time. So if you want to recreate this and you don't want to use the letters like that, you want to use thickers or something, go for it. You will be able to smash this page out International Scrapbook Day, you could smash this page out in an hour. Not a problem. So, and that's for a basic scrapper that isn't a seasoned scrapper that doesn't do it regularly. It would be an hour max. So I go around this with everything, with the black pen, and I go around. You can see I've done the black border. I used a POSCA pen for that as well, but I used my bullet point, my bullet tip, which is 0.9 to 1.3 mil. Now, what I actually went around and did there, I went around with the thinner one, but then I went and coloured in varying sizes and spaces around. Now, this is real time, this bit. Okay, so I went around and just created that sort of choppy look. I actually learnt this from a lady. Her YouTube channel is Cat Hand. She does a lot of mixed media, and I actually learnt this technique from her. So I will do a shout out to Cat, and I will tag her in this, so she knows that she's inspired me. Now she does a lot of mixed media, and it's a really good, if you're looking for mixed media inspiration, Kat's brilliant for it. Now, is there anything else I haven't told you? I don't think so. I will put a list below of everything I've used and where to get it from. I think most of it. Paper Rose is probably the only thing that you need to know where to get it from. But the rest of them, the Kaisercraft Alpha, I'm not even sure if you can still get it. I did buy it 2 or 3 years ago. So, yeah. So, thank you. If you're still with me, thank you so much for sticking around. I sincerely appreciate it. I am bringing you inspiration daily at the moment because why not? Who doesn't need more inspiration? So that is why I do this page. That's why I have this channel. It is purely and simply to meet other people, give inspiration. Like I said, take the stars off it, take the lettering, take the process of creating the paper piecing for the lettering, take the border, take any piece you like. I'm honestly flattered if you use any part of any of my layouts from my channel. I'm flattered by it because it means that I've obviously explained myself well, and or I have kept the visual in such a way that you can copy it. So I'm incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. And the more people that like and subscribe to my channel, the more people will see it, because YouTube updates the algorithm and says, okay, people seem to like this page, so they will share it to people and recommend it to people. And that's what I'm hoping to do, just to get my inspiration out there for other people. So thanks for watching this little Aussie, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.